Liverpool's transfer strategy looks set for another test, with reports suggesting the club are weighing up a move that could cost in the region of £100 million. The Reds have been linked with several high-profile names over the past year, but this latest development signals a level of intent that would mark a major statement. With competition fierce and finances carefully balanced, Liverpool's next steps in the market could have a huge impact on their long-term plans. Let's break this down in today's video, along with all the other Liverpool news from the last 24 hours. There is so much to discuss in today's video, so be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for daily Liverpool content. But first, Hugo Ekitike has been called up by France manager Didier Deschamps for this month's World Cup qualifiers, allaying fears over an injury picked up against Galatasaray. Ekitike started Tuesday's 1-0 defeat in Istanbul before being forced off in the 68th minute after stretching to receive an underhit pass. He was subsequently forced off after treatment from Liverpool's medical staff, leading to concerns over another injury following Alisson's departure earlier in the game. The striker suggested to reporters after the loss that it was simply a bout of cramp, which indicated he will be available for the trip to Chelsea on Saturday. Those chances are boosted with the news that Ekitike was part of the France squad announced on Thursday afternoon. France will play Azerbaijan and Iceland in 2 World Cup qualifiers following Liverpool's clash at Stamford Bridge this weekend. Deschamps held a lengthy press conference to discuss his 23-man selection, but Ekitike's fitness was not a major topic for the reporters assembled. Liverpool expect Ekitike to be fit for their 5:30 p.m. kickoff against Chelsea, though the likelihood is that Alexander Isak will start up front. Isak and Ekitike have been rotated in recent weeks with Arne Slot, acknowledging after the defeat to Galatasaray that neither were able to benefit from the pre-season a player should have. There are a few players that missed pre-season, so you simply cannot play them every single game, Slot told reporters. Well, you can, but then that could become a risk of players becoming injured. We have seen this more and more because the demands go up more and more, and if the demands go up, you have to prepare players for these demands. That means that it is not always that I want to rotate, but sometimes I need to because a player is not ready to play 3 times 90 minutes in 7 or 8 days. With Isak coming off the bench for 28 minutes on Tuesday, the likelihood is that he and Ekitike will swap for the meeting with Chelsea 4 days later. Federico Chiesa is another option to start up front, with the Italian set to return to contention after not travelling to Turkey. Ekitike was belatedly called up to the France squad for the first time in last month's break, replacing the injured Ryan Cherki, and came off the bench against both Ukraine and Iceland. He faces competition from Christopher Nkunku and Jean-Philippe Mateta this month as they vie for minutes behind first-choice striker Kylian Mbappe. Now in a £100 million deal, Liverpool continue to be linked with a move for Bayern Munich right-winger Michael Olise as a potential successor to Mohamed Salah, with a €100 million deal proposed. Olise has picked up where he left off after an outstanding debut campaign at Bayern, with 5 goals and 6 assists in 9 games so far. But despite his status as a key player for the Bundesliga champions, his future at the Allianz Arena is not entirely certain. Last month, Liverpool journalist Lewis Steele claimed that he cannot rule out the Reds making a move for Olise next summer, with the early noises being that he could be right at the top of their shopping list. That followed speculation of a release clause in the France international's contract, which would be easily manageable for clubs in the Premier League. German publication Bild have now reiterated Liverpool's interest in the 23-year-old, suggesting they would be ahead of Man City and Chelsea in their efforts to sign him. It is even claimed that the Premier League champions would be prepared to pay €100 million in order to bring Olise to Anfield. The speculation comes as Bayern push for their number 17 to sign an improved contract, with his current terms worth a basic £200,000 a week, which, remarkably, does not place him close to their highest earners. Munich newspaper AZ have further reported on the poker game developing around Olise's situation at Bayern and the threat of interest from Liverpool. Michael has already made a lot of impressions in his first season. He's a player fans come to the stadium for. It's simply fun to watch him play, Bayern sporting director Max Abel said this week. He has over 3.5 years left on his contract and will increasingly become a decisive factor in FC Bayern's game and shape the future of this team. Asked directly about Olise's contract and Bayern's hopes to tie him down to an extended deal, Abel replied, "If it's up to us, the longer the better." The question of Salah's successor has been one that has quietly sat at the back of minds for a while, thankfully able to be pushed to the back of the brain thanks to the Egyptian's longevity. Last season saw him produce arguably his best campaign yet, scoring 34 goals and providing 23 assists, but time eventually catches everyone. With a contract expiring in 2027, Salah still has plenty of miles on the clock. But replacing one of your club's greatest ever players shouldn't be done on a whim. In other news,
Alisson has been ruled out for Liverpool's trip to Chelsea, meaning his injury record will surpass 55 games missed for the club. The Brazilian was quickly ruled out of Liverpool's final game before the international break. As Arne Slot explained, "It's never positive if you go off like this after the defeat at Galatasaray. Alisson and Liverpool will be crossing their fingers that the issue is not a serious one after 2 consecutive seasons of missing more than 10 matches due to injury or illness." Thankfully, Liverpool have Georgi Mamardashvili on hand to deputise, but the concern for Alisson is the constant nature of issues that keep him out of the 11th. The 32-year-old will bring up his 56th game missed for Liverpool since he arrived in 2018/19 on Saturday, due to a combination of soft tissue injuries, concussions and illness. Only in 2 seasons was Alisson consistently available, 2018/19 and 2022/23, while in 2021/22 he missed a single match due to COVID, but the recent trend does not make for great reading. When sidelined with another hamstring injury early last season, Slot spoke of how the club were looking to get to the bottom of Alisson's uncommon relationship with injuries. "It's a bit uncommon for goalkeepers," Slot admitted last October. "For me it's common because the goalkeeper I had at Feyenoord, Justin Bijlow, also had his issues with injuries and also muscle injuries. But that's not what you see a lot, so these two are more an exception. We are looking into it, what could be the reason. One of the things we all know is if you had one, then the chances of getting another one always go up. We've tried to be really careful with him." The Brazilian boasts the worst injury record among the Premier League's top goalkeepers, with Nick Pope the next closest with 44 games missed for Burnley and Newcastle combined. It is worrisome how often Alisson succumbs to muscle injuries, with his number of games missed equivalent to missing the entirety of last season's 56 games, but in Mamardashvili they have his successor. Alisson is contracted until 2026, but the club have an option to extend his deal by a further year. It is expected to be a formality, but his unusual injury record will be factored into Slot's plans.
But that is all for today's video. Thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel for daily Liverpool content. We post all the latest Liverpool news every day, so join our fast growing community so you never miss out. Thank you, I'll see you in the next video.